Greetings, flower lovers. This is Estere, and you've reached the Flower Channel. Thanks so much for joining me today to soothe your soul and warm your heart with the beauty and healing magic of flowers. Hi, this is Estere. Today I'm going to show you what to do with one lone chrysanthemum head. Now, oftentimes you'll buy a bouquet and there'll be a broken head in it, and never want to throw this out because you have lots of options of what you could do with it. Now this one actually is pretty mature, and sometimes that'll happen in a bouquet that you purchase. There'll be maybe a funky one in there. I just take out the lower petals, just pull them out. He loves me not, you remember that. And just take off anything, this is true for all your flower arranging. You want to take off anything that's slimy, funky, looks unfresh. If it doesn't look fresh, take it off. And it's fine for this type of flower because even if we take a whole bunch of petals off, it's still very beautiful. This is called a disbud chrysanthemum. Disbud meaning when it grows, they take all the side buds off and it creates one big one. It has a very delicious smell. So make sure when you're working with your flowers that you give them a good sniff. They're really fresh and delicious. So this one, I wanted to show you, I have this beautiful handmade jade colored bowl, and I'm going to fill it with water. I always keep a bucket, a watering can of water that is just kind of sitting out in the air because our water here is very chlorinated and flowers don't like chlorinated water. So if you let the water sit out for about an hour, the chlorine will evaporate. So here I've filled my bowl part way with water, and I'm going to take this stem, I'm going to cut it really short so that I just have that tiny bit. That's where it's going to drink from. It's going to drink right from the petals too. And I just float it. And then something that you might have thrown away now becomes a beautiful centerpiece. Isn't that lovely? Just like that. Now I'm going to show you some other things to do. Oh, it's so beautiful. I can hardly take my eyes off it. And if you really look, it helps you to really focus on the individual beauty of a flower. Because sometimes when you have a whole bunch of flowers happening at once, you can get a little distracted. But this is very zen, and it lets you really take in the beauty of the flower. And then you feel more relaxed right away as soon as you just flower gaze. Okay, let's take another look at some other things to do. Now, I have a whole bunch of little vases here, and they all have kind of a different look. This is another type of disbud. This is also a chrysanthemum. It's a spider variety, also delicious. And I'm going to show you a bunch of different effects you could get all from the same flower. So I'm going to fill, this is my little cherub vase, which I love to use. And here's the thing about using one flower. Every time you put the flower in water, you want to give it a little trim, take off any of the damaged foliage, and then get used to, start getting to feel comfortable with not having to fill the whole arrangement, the whole vase, because it's actually very pleasing to see the water, because then it has a little bit of a feel that you're kind of in nature, because in nature we often see flowers growing by ponds or streams or water, so it really helps you connect to another element of nature, which is the water. So this is a little Rococo cherub vase. This is going to give you this kind of other century feel. Now maybe that's one style that you might like. Okay, here's a really cool mug that my friend Rick made years ago in his pottery class, and I love this mug. And of course this is a whole different feeling. This is a fishing mug. Right, it's got a little fish on there, and it's handmade. Again, I take my little disbud, I give it a little snip, and I'm going to place my flower right in there. And that is so sweet. And so these are little arrangements you can have on your table or like in your bathroom or on your desk. It's fun to use vases, containers that have an emotional feeling for you. So when I look at this mug, I love it because I love my friend Rick and I love his creativity. And so I can really enjoy this flower and in the mug. And also, if you look closely, you can see the reflection of the flower in the water. And then so you're getting a really kind of a Zen experience. And that's what you get when you're using just one flower. I mean, and look at this flower, it's exquisite. You know, you're having petals that are dark on the inside and lighter on the outside. And there's a lot of movement here. And as this flower opens, which it will, there's going to be even more movement. So this is chrysanthemum in a fish mug made by Rick. Now let's say you're into kind of more antique-y silver. Sometimes I polish these, sometimes I don't. And I just like them kind of old and like some treasure that I found in an attic somewhere. I'm gonna give another trim. And again, you get the same. Now that looks completely different, right? Than putting it in a green mug or a white ceramic porcelain container. When you bring in the silver, you're bringing in a whole other element. So it's really fun to work with the textural elements of your containers and see how the same flower takes on a completely different personality in a different container. Beautiful. Now I have also, this is just a glass, a little glass, a little cut glass, a little old-fashioned. And here's another look. Same idea, but a completely different look in the glass. And it just depends on what you like. And you don't have to like choose anything. You can try them all. You can try any container you have that holds water and see if you like it. Maybe you like it for that day. Maybe the next day you're in a different mood. The moon has changed signs. Now you're romantic. You want to go with a romantic feel. Maybe then, oh, the moon's in Taurus and I want to feel, or in Pisces, you know, I want to feel fish. So I'm going to use my fish container. Whatever the mood is for you, you can change the container and use the flower. This flower is already 2 weeks old. I've had this in the house for 2 weeks. This will probably last another 2 weeks if I keep cutting it and changing the water. So you can get a lot of longevity out of these chrysanthemums. In fact, in the Asian cultures, chrysanthemums are the symbol for longevity. So if you want to bring more longevity into your life, have chrysanthemums in your life. And then I have this other, now this is like, okay, this is my little violet vase. Ceramic violet. Fill it up. Now this, because it has a much smaller opening, when I put the flower in there, and remember to give the flower a fresh cut every time you move it, this is just going to fill the whole thing. And that's a whole other look. Little Victorian with the violets on it. Gives a more kind of symmetrical feel. You could have like 6 of these down the center of a table in all different vases, or maybe all the same vases interspersed with some tea lights, and you have a really spectacular centerpiece for, you know, under $10. Okay, that is our fun with single disbud chrysanthemums. How fun is that? Enjoy your chrysanthemums and long life to you. Thanks for joining me on the Flower Channel. Bring beauty, love, magic into your life with flowers.